Etruscans, the Ancient Centers of Lazio, tells the story of the period of maximum prosperity and expansion of the Etruscan civilization during the 5th and 6th century BCE. The Vita Urban, the life of the city across the extraordinary development of the principal urban centers of the province of Lazio. The cities Vulci, Veio, Tarquinia, and Cereteri, in exhibition from October 21st in Rome at the Palazzo delle Esposizioni. Each of these city-states differed in terms of artistic production, lifestyle, economic and commercial practice, each leaving its influence of the Corinthian ceramic arts and the Greco-Western Attic influence of Greek paintings and masterpieces that influenced the figurative Etruscan culture. Lavish and rich enough that it influenced the other great civilizations that shared the Italian peninsula, such as the neighboring Romans, that assimilated and preserved its religious practices and symbols of power and authority. The second part of the exhibition is devoted to the ties between these ancient cities and Rome itself, highlighting the strong influence that the Etruscan civilization had on the Roman world, on its religious practices and its symbols of power, pointing to continuity, but also to the differences between the two cultures. The individual character of these four cities in southern Etruria is illustrated by a selection of some of the most important works of art from each locality, many of which are on public display for the very first time. Veio is the terracotta city, as in terracotta for the roofs of buildings and terracotta for votive sculptures. In the central octagon of the Palazzo delle Esposizioni, a model of part of the Temple of Apollo stands next to the original artifacts found at the site. The model illustrates the imposing and flamboyant effects resulting from a skillful blend of architecture and sculpture. Statues of Apollo, Latona, and Heracles decorate the top of its roof. Cereteri stands out for the unusual funerary architecture of its famous necropolis. A model of a complete sepulchre has been rebuilt in its original dimensions, reminding us of the ceremonial pageantry of ancient times, when ancient cults played an important role. Vulci is represented by monumental sculpture in local stone and by works from the neighboring site of Ischia di Castro, which was placed at tomb entrances and which often depicted mythological beasts. From the closing years of the 8th century BCE onwards, Cereteri and Vulci were the focal points of the flourishing trade routes from the Greek world, and it was through these markets that precious decorated ceramic vases from Corinth, from the Greek Orient, and later from Attica, reached the various locations in Etruria. Several large vases are on display, all of them veritable masterpieces of the Greek painting that had such a profound influence on Etruscan figurative art. Tarquinia, with over 100 frescoed tombs, ranging in date from the Archaic period to the Hellenistic era, was the single most important art gallery in the ancient world before Pompeii. A number of the most significant finds from this extraordinary treasure trove of painting, much of which is little known to the general public, is on show at the exhibition. The discovery of the sacred area of Gravisca, the port of Tarquinia, in the early 70s proved crucial in affording us a better understanding of the economic dynamics that molded trade relations in the Terrarian area. In fact, the very first emporium on Etruscan soil, frequented in particular by Greek merchants, was excavated at the site. The exhibition tells the story of the sanctuary in Gravisca, not only through the display of many of the ex-voto offerings left by the worshippers at the site, but also through a virtual reconstruction of the Temple of Adonis, where the celebrations marking the annual cycle of the young hero's death and rebirth were held. The Etruscans, the Ancient Centers of Lazio, shows the excellence of the Etruscan civilization in Lazio through January 6, 2009.